Good morning. Welcome to Market Monday for September 2nd, 2024, and a happy Labor Day to all of you. Labor Day is an important annual celebration of Americans' social and economic achievements. The holiday is rooted in the late 19th century when labor activists pushed for a federal holiday to recognize workers' many contributions to America's strength, prosperity, and well-being. A hat tip to the American worker, indeed. Things have been really good for the American worker lately. With low unemployment for some time and a tight labor market, companies have been hoarding labor and paying up to retain and attract employees. However, as we all know it too well, inflation has done a number on American households. Not only that, but could high interest rates finally be taking a toll on jobs? Here's a composite of employment indicators from various Fed surveys. Look at that. Plunging in August and now negative for the first time since mid-2020. And if that wasn't enough to convince you, the Dallas Fed is seeing growth in the dinner sausage category, which tends to happen as the economy weakens. Worth keeping an eye on as the Fed shifts its attention from taming inflation to maintaining full employment. Another frame we can use to assess the health of the overall economy is this: the variables used to determine an official NBER recession. For all these variables, green is good. These yellow diamonds are the reading from 6 months ago, and blue is the most recent. Keep in mind, recent readings are subject to revision. Here's that employment topic trending down here. Household surveys are thought to be less relevant each year. Consumer spending seems to be slowing down, and industrial production is looking quite strong. Generally speaking, we would say that while the economy isn't hitting any home runs, it's also not falling off of a cliff. All right, switching gears to the market. This year's story has been the so-called Magnificent Seven, giant tech stocks like Apple and Microsoft responsible for most of the S&P 500 stock market gains so far. And even one stock in particular, NVIDIA, has been screaming higher. Well, here's one reason why. Remember how we say from time to time that earnings eventually drive stock markets? Here's a textbook example. Here's the earnings contribution of the entire S&P 500 stock market. Starting here in the third quarter of 2023, we can see that NVIDIA alone contributed over 70% of the earnings of the entire index, with the other Magnificent Seven contributing the other 30%. And that was true until, well, essentially right now, as the other 493 companies just began contributing more to the earnings of the overall index. Looking ahead, these are estimates, so take them with a grain of salt. But over the next year and a half, the other 493 stocks are expected to contribute over 70% of earnings. Diversification within stocks is a very important form of diversification too. Seems like a good time for a periodic reminder that nothing lasts forever. Here, we're looking at the 3 largest companies in the S&P 500 stock market since 1950. Light blue is the largest, gray second largest, and dark blue third largest. Of course, AT&T had a very long run in the top 3. Exxon has spent the longest in the top 3, just dropping out for good about 10 years ago. IBM, of course GE, then tech dominance of Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet, Google, and Amazon. But one thing's for certain, the current Magnificent Seven, too, won't last forever. Today, we'll leave you with a resounding round of applause to the Little League World Champions, Team Southeast, from right here in our own backyard, Lake Mary, Florida. Hats off to them as they battled through an extra innings to overcome China Taipei 2-1 in the 8th inning. Have a great week.